Yes, good afternoon and welcome to the Philippine Association of Academic Research Librarians, 5th Marina G. Direct Lecture Series entitled Website Development for Libraries, wherein we will learn the basics of website development and how we can create and manage dynamic web content. Moreover, we can enhance our knowledge and skills in basic web design and content management systems. I'm Ana Loriza Di Sahona, librarian at De La Salle College of St. Benilde and one of PAARL's executive board, and together with me here are the rest of our board of directors of PAARL. We'd also like to acknowledge the presence of our PAARL past presidents who are joining us today. Thank you so much for attending. So before we get started, I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's event. Of course, a strong internet connection for this webinar is a must. Laptop, portable tablets, and desktops are highly encouraged for better viewing of presentations. Find a conducive place at your workplace with less noise or disturbances. Please use your real name here in Zoom. Kindly name it if necessary for attendance purposes. Using headphones is highly encouraged. Also, for those who have not accomplished yet our pre-evaluation form, kindly access the link posted in our chat box, as this is one of the requirements before you receive your certificate of participation. So please don't forget to access the link in our chat box. You will have the opportunity to submit questions to our speaker by typing your questions into our chat box. You may send your questions at any time during the presentation, and we will collect and address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation. You may also unmute yourself or click the raise hand button if you wish to ask clarifications. All right, let's officially start our program with an invocation followed by the Philippine National Anthem.
Wala pong audio.
Miss Sharon, please share sound.
May mga feedback.
Hindi sabi mo nakapanood ito.
All right, so I think nagkaroon ng technical problem sa ating prayer. So let's have a short prayer na lang no, instead. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Let us remember that we are in the holy presence of God. Dear God in heaven, what a joy to come before your presence at this moment when we have come together for today's webinar. Thank you, Lord, for allowing us to be here for this session. We pray that you help us carry well this webinar through the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you for this day that you have given us. It is a great privilege to join others for this webinar today. Thank you for your provisions as we start this training and webinar. May you be with us till the end. For we pray in the name of Jesus. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right, so let's skip na lang muna yung ating national anthem and let's proceed to the opening remarks of our President, Miss Sharon Samaniego. Hi, Miss Sharon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Miss Anna.
Good afternoon.
Po. Okay, good afternoon and good afternoon to everyone. So we have come to the fifth and the last lecture of the Marina G. Derrit lecture series. Library website is among the usual topic of concerns during accreditations and also an important tool for our students and faculty members, most especially during the time of the pandemic, where they can access our resources and communicate with the library personnel. It is also one of the provisions stated in the 2022 PAR Library Standards under Area 7.6 or the Information Technology Infrastructure. 7.6.3 of the said standards specifically states the library shall have an official website to serve as an access to all electronic resources and its online catalog. It shall also serve as a communication tool to facilitate online transactions and messaging with library users. As mentioned a while ago by Ms. Anna, the lecture will focus on learning the basics of website development and how we can create and manage a dynamic web content. So without further ado, we welcome you to the fifth Marina G. Derrit lecture with the topic on website development for libraries. Good afternoon.
Thank you so much, Miss Sharon, for that warm welcome remarks. All right, so to introduce our resource speaker for this afternoon, let me call our one of the board of directors of PAARL, Miss Marivic Silencio. Hi, Miss Marivic.
Hi, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and peace be with you. Our resource speaker for this afternoon is an information technology specialist and a professional librarian. He specializes in database design, web development, digital preservation, digital repositories, and library management systems. He served as University Librarian of UP Diliman from 2014 to 2020 and as the head of the IT division of the University Library for more than 14 years prior to this appointment. He is also a senior lecturer at the UP School of Library and Information Studies, handling graduate courses, such as programming in database structures in LIS and digital libraries. He is well recognized in the profession for his expertise and notable contributions in the areas of library automation, digitization, and IT applications in libraries. In 2018, he served as the PAARL president, where he initially introduced the PAARL Directory Database Project as one of his initiatives. Late last year, he was able to complete the working project and the working version of this online database. So friends, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Sir Tito Angeles. Sir.
Thank
Give
you.
him a warm of applause using the chat reaction button.
Thank you. Thank you, Marivic. And good afternoon, everyone. I'm happy to be back sa PAARL, of course. Thank you for inviting me in this Marina Direct Lecture Series. So, before I start, siguro, I was actually thinking earlier when I was invited to deliver this presentation, whether libraries still do not have their own websites. No? Kasi if I remember right, more than siguro 10, 15 years ago, I've been actually delivering lectures similar to this one on building, establishing websites for libraries. And so I was surprised that it's still the same topic that we are covering right now. Parang feeling ko that time obsolete na or masyado ng gasgas. But siguro come to think of it, many libraries still are not yet visible publicly on the internet. So in my experience working in the library, siguro the first project I did was actually to develop a website, no, for the library. So medyo marami ng revisions na dinaanan yun, and we have used several platforms already, no, for the past siguro 20 years. And I noticed that yun nga because mabilis yung turnover of technologies, no, mabilis magpalit. So it's important also to be able to know and understand the current technology with regards to library websites and how we can utilize this. So let me share my presentation. Sorry, paki-enable lang yung sharing.
Yes, okay na, sir.
Okay. Ayun. Okay, so ayan. So let's increase that. So visible na ba?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
sir, visible po.
yeah, thank you. So our topic for this lecture series is on website development for libraries. So I will start with the outline for the presentation so that you have an idea of the flow of presentation. So I'll be introducing some main reasons for building a library website, its importance, some common problems and challenges in design, some principles of web design, and then the essential components of a library website, development technologies, and then development and accessibility evaluation tools. So we will also be discussing the different platforms used to build websites. And also equally important is the hosting your website. And then analytics, the statistics that we need to evaluate the usage or utilization of our website. Okay, and then evaluation and assessment tools. And also equally important is yung security, how to secure the website. And finally, if we have extra time, I can provide a brief demo or at least show you some quick videos on how to build a website for your library. Okay. So, why do you need a library website? I remember in 2018 there was this post in a blog about web presence, and the title is "If You're Not in Google, You Don't Exist." Does this sound familiar? Meron bang naka-encounter sa inyo niyan? So many years back, when we were just starting on using web technologies, very very important yung website mo or your organization being searchable using a search engine like Google. So sinasabi nga na if you cannot be found using Google, you do not exist. So it's very important to have a web presence because the web is now established as the medium for finding and disseminating information across the internet. And having an official website is one way of establishing your library as an essential component of your organization. Minsan kasi parang nale-left out yung library, especially kung yung library was only or is only part of the parent organization's website. So kung halimbawa it's a university or a school, yung library information doon is just one page describing the services or the resources in the library. Pero wala siyang separate na website. So parang ang lumalabas, it's not very important, it's not essential as compared to a library that has its own website separate from its parent organization. Okay. Also, it helps to establish yung authority of the library as a reliable source of information. So, as I mentioned earlier, pag nag-search through a search engine like Google and hindi lumalabas sa search result, especially dun sa first page of the search result, yung inyong organization or your library, then that means either wala talaga, hindi kayo present on the web, or very weak yung inyong web presence. Okay, and in this case, it can possibly have a negative impact on your organization. For instance, maybe negative information yung makikita ng ibang users or ng ibang researchers, no, looking for information about your library. So it's better that you have an official website, no, where people get reliable and authoritative information. So rather than mga fake news, no, or incorrect information yung makuha nila from other sources. Okay. Also, the library website is an extension of your physical library. A virtual space to interact with your community. And this is especially true during the period of lockdown. No? Around 2 years ago, no? Nung medyo kasagsagan ng mga lockdown natin, our websites are the main portal, no? A gateway for our users, no? To access our resources and services. So we communicate to them via our websites. Of course, may mga social media accounts. And I know that many users still prefer using social media to be able to communicate with their users. Pero pwede naman silang mag-coexist, no? A website and your social media accounts. Hindi naman kailangan either website lang or social media presence, no, like a Facebook account. So it would be better kung they will go hand in hand, no, in promoting your library, no, on the web. And for me personally, kung tatanungin niyo kung mas official para sa akin, yung information that I get from a website, no, rather than from a social media post. No? So, di ba, as librarians, we are very, ano ba yung term doon? We evaluate information basing it on the source, no, or references. No? So between website and social media posts, we would consider, no, websites to be more authoritative, especially kung ito ay gumagamit ng official domain of the organization. No? So that means official yon. So hindi siya basta lang nag-establish ng isang website using a domain that is not recognized or that is not the same as the parent organization. Okay, next. So ano naman yung importance of a well-designed site? So hindi lang basta dapat may website, dapat it's well-designed. Okay, syempre we believe in the saying first impression last, di ba? So pag maganda yung website mo sa unang video lang, there's a tendency that users will go back, no, and revisit your website. Pero kung hindi maganda sa una pa lang, ang tendency, most users will not return, no, and or revisit your website kung hindi nila nagustuhan. So baka mahirap gamitin or hindi organized ang information. So they medyo turn off, no, for users wanting to visit your website. Okay. In addition, yung well-designed website can build trust. No? As I've mentioned kanina, authoritative dapat. if the information comes from the website. So it becomes a source of authority. Nakita nila yung information posted in your website, it will be considered as authoritative, rather than seeing a post in a social media page. And so it creates consistency. Pag maayos yung website, the users are able to browse the pages consistently, meaning same look and feel. No? Hindi siya nakakalito, so the text and the layout or the images, they are presented in an organized manner. Even if you move to the different pages, more or less the same yung layout, no? And as I mentioned, the same look and feel. Okay, so consistent yung presentation of the information. So that is an ideal website. And also, a well-designed website provides enhanced usability, no? And user experience. So very important yung aspect of usability when we talk about websites. In fact, I have a separate slide and discussion for usability. So usability and accessibility. Those are two very important aspects in web design. So we will have to emphasize on these aspects. Okay. And then also good design equals greater control. Yan. So pag maganda yung pagkaka-design, pagkaka-organize, then it's easier to manage your website. You have full control of the elements or the components of the website. Siyempre, depende rin yan on the platform you are using. So it would also be a big factor. But we will discuss that aspect later in the succeeding slides. Okay, let's also talk about some common problems and challenges in website design. Number one dyan is, yun nga, na-mention ko, the organization. No? The difficulty in organizing, especially if there's too many information. Actually, yun yung greatest challenge, no? When you're just starting to build a website. Ang hirap i-organize into, for instance, ano ba yung magiging main menu, main links, no? And then ano yung mga sub pages, no, under each main menu. So kung masyado kang maraming information, you have so many resources and services to offer, it will be difficult, no, to organize. So initially you have to develop a plan, no, and like an outline or a map, no, to be able to organize the pages logically. No? Okay, and then another challenge is yung use of unfamiliar terms, no, or jargons. Siyempre sa libraries or librarians, we use different terms that are not very familiar to our users. So minsan iba yung interpretation, no, ng users when we use jargons or maybe acronyms, no? We use acronyms tapos hindi naman naka-spell out kung ano yung meaning. So some users get confused na kung ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng mga terminologies that we use in our website. Even sa mga search lang na minsan nakakalito. For instance, yung term na continuing resources. hindi very common for other users. Syempre mas familiar sila dun sa term na magazines, na journals. So if you use jargons, medyo confusing for some users who are not very familiar with this. Okay, so may iwasan natin or at least provide additional notes, no, or text, no, to further explain certain terms. Okay. And then another issue is the understanding of the search tools. So remember, if you have multiple databases available in your library, so you are subscribed, for instance, to various online resources, or you have your own local databases. So bawat database merong kanya-kanyang search interface. And the way you search a database, unique yan, no, for every system. Kasi possibly magkakaiba yung ginamit na database backend. Of course, the programming languages. So iba rin yung presentation of the search results. So using the search tools in different databases is quite challenging, no, for new users. So kailangan you provide tutorials, no, or at least guides, no, on how to go about, no, searching different databases. So dapat part ng service ng librarian information literacy, di ba? Okay. And then related dun sa first aspect is yung navigability or usability. So dapat organize site, no, madali siyang i-navigate. The menus and sub-menus are easy to understand. You can go straight to a specific page na kailangan mo. So that means dapat well organized yung presentation or the layout. Even the names of the links or the menus, dapat clear. Okay. Another issue would be understanding sources. So yun nga, we have different resources in the library, from articles, books, journals, and other information resources. And again, yung users natin, hindi naman sila lahat familiar on the terms that we use to describe these resources. So it's a challenge for users. Medyo may difficulty rin of understanding. If you point them to some resource, hindi sila familiar with the terms, siyempre confusing yan. So usability is more than just yung navigation, but more on how users understand yung specific content or labels in your website. So merong mga tools that can help improve yung ganitong mga issues on usability, including yung lalagay ng labels or names in buttons, menu, and even yung mga text, no, within the website. So there are tools that can provide suggestions on how to improve yung readability and usability of certain components in our website. And then Also, another issue would be finding information resources. So dapat ang website natin may facility to search. If you want to go straight to a particular page, dapat pwede nating i-search, no, rather than navigating the menu and isa-isahin natin so that we could find the specific information that we need. So with a search, mas mabilis yun. No? And a few years back, nire-recommend yung paggamit ng mga sitemaps. No? Sitemaps, basically, it's an outline, no, in hierarchical form, no, on how the website is organized. No? So from the main menu down to the submenus and down to the specific pages. No? So matatrack mo yung path, no, to the specific page you are looking for. And in fact, sa search engine optimization, before, website developers are encouraged to upload a sitemap, no, sa mga search engines like Google or Yahoo before, para mas ma-optimize, no, and mas mabilis may index yung isang website. Kasi you can also use search engines, di ba? If you're looking for a specific information in a website, by using a search engine, makikita mo rin naman exactly. But syempre, assuming that the specific pages have links, no, from the main website, or at least mahanap niya yung path, no, directly to the specific page. And yung sitemap actually makes that easy. No? So that's why before it was a recommendation, pero ngayon mukhang hindi na. Mas matalino na yung mga search engines ngayon. They can actually drill down to the specific pages, no, from the main site. So mas magiging searchable na. But still, nakakatulong pa rin naman yung sitemaps. Okay. Next, another issue which is very common this time is yung responsiveness, no, of the website. So mobile friendly ba siya? Because our users, kung hindi man mas marami at siguro equally na rin, no, yung gumagamit ng mobile devices, no, other than of course the desktop PCs or laptops, no. So our users use their mobile phones, you know, or tablets, you know, so smaller screens to access na and browse websites. So dapat yung website is responsive and can easily resize, no, to the screen that the users are using. No? So yung template used by the website should have specific settings, no, for specific screen sizes. No? So kaya merong mga tinatawag na design website. Kasi isipin nyo kung was developed and intended only for large screens, no, sa desktop computer, pagdating sa mobile, there are some components, no, or information that may not be displayed properly, or worst, hindi talaga madi-display, no, because they are not intended, no, to be viewed using smaller screens. Kaya ang developers also look into the aspect of responsiveness, no, and make sure to test the website using different devices, no, and screen sizes. Okay, let's talk about some principles of web design. Ito yung mga ilan lang sa na-identify ko, and I was able to consolidate some ideas. Okay, so first yung identity, very important is the identity of the website. So gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, para maging authoritative ang isang website, dapat meron siyang official domain. It's using the domain of your parent organization. So kung ang domain nyo is .edu.ph, yung dulo, that means you are part of an academic institution. So your library must also use that domain para ma-official. So kasi yung iba, if you use for instance mga free hosting websites, by default ginagamit nila kung ano yung domain ng provider. So for instance, if you use Google Sites, then syempre yung domain nyo is using the Google sites.google.com, di ba? Na domain. Ganun. Week, press, kung mga free accounts sila, then definitely hindi siya official domain. So you have to apply for an official domain for your website para maging authoritative yan. And then another related aspect is the persistent URLs. So meaning yung mga pages mo should have permanent links, so that pagka ginamit siyang reference ng ibang users, so they copy the URL, dapat ano yan, persistent yan, permanent yung URL, so that hindi magiging dead link. So once na nag-click ang users to that link, meron siyang pupuntahan na page. Okay? Next principle is simplicity. So as much as possible, minimal lang yung approach. The site should be easy to read, user-friendly. Do not put so many information in one page. Kasi isipin nyo, dati ang websites, pag inorganize siya, medyo limited lang to one column, 2 columns. Ngayon, halos lahat ng areas merong content. So medyo parang cluttered yung dating. If it's not well organized, ang hirap basahin. Hindi mo alam kung saan ka titingin, sa kaliwa, sa kanan, sa gitna, or sa baba, so sa taas. So maraming components ang isang website. And kung hindi sila properly arranged, masakit sa mata, mahirap siyang basahin. So as much as possible, maintain lang yung simplicity of the website. Para hindi siya mahirap gamitin, mahirap basahin. Next is flexibility. So consider different kinds of users with different needs. So since public ang isang website and hindi natin alam ano-ano or sino-sino ang users natin. So expect that we will have different users from different age groups, different generations, different backgrounds. And yung website natin dapat at least applicable for all types of users, all kinds of users. And later on, I will also discuss yung recommendation for website to also be compliant with users that are considered visually impaired, for instance, o yung may mga kapansanan. So meron ding mga standards that we can adopt para maging compliant website for these requirements. Okay, so moving on, consistency is another principle. So na-mention ko ito kanina, same look and feel, yung styles, use, layouts, color scheme, no? Even the fonts, no? So yung typography in general, dapat consistent siya across the different pages. So dito mas popular yung mga content management systems, which we will discuss later, because templated sila. So they have a common look and feel across the different pages. Next aspect is accessibility, which I have already mentioned in the previous slide. So dapat organized, no? The content is structured in a logical way. And then compatibility. So yan, I mentioned earlier about some standards. Yung WCAG, okay? WCAG is Web Content Accessibility Guideline. So basically, it's an international standard for websites to be accessible for different users, especially yun nga yung mga visually impaired. And also part yan ng W3C or World Wide Web Consortium. So dapat yung websites natin compliant din in these standards, so that even yung mga users that have impaired vision, pwede nilang gamitin yung website using screen readers. Okay? Tapos we also check for compatibility browsers. So dapat meron siyang full support ng modern browsers. So my experience in website development or even yung systems development, no, na web-based, after a few years, medyo nagiging problematic na yung performance, especially yung user interface, no, yung interaction ng users with the components of the website. Kasi pag na-obsolete na yung components, like for instance, those that were written in scripting languages or programming languages na obsolete na, hindi na sila work because web browsers update napakabilis yung interval parang or every few months merong mga new technologies that are being introduced and ng mga modern browser may mga features na so dinidiscontinue. So meaning if you have used them previously in your websites, then definitely hindi na sila mag-work after some time. So isang example niyan yung Java applets, for instance, na kung na-encounter niyo yun, an interactive component in a web page. So yung applet, dati popular yan for animated pictures, no, ng isang site. Pero yun, parang wala nang gumagamit because yun nga, nawala na rin yung support browsers or at least limited support na. So hindi na siya advisable gamitin. Okay? Then next is responsiveness. So the website should be dynamic. Okay? Automatically adjust for different screen sizes. So na-mention ko na yan kanina. Responsive dapat ang design. So that kahit ano yung device na gamitin, the website content will still be visible to the users. And then finally yung manageability, so which is also an important aspect in web design. So you have to plan well, no, again yung how will you organize the contents. And then second is yung process of editing, dapat well established yan. No? So, paano ba upload ng new content? No? So, dapat merong workflow. Merong, for instance, content creators and then approvers, no? Or editors. So, hindi lang basta napapublish agad ang information in a website. So, merong dinadaan ng proseso. And you have to have a specific workflow, no, yung process for that content updating and editing. So that includes yung testing. So you have to preview first, no, before i-publish siya publicly kasi again, dapat authoritative yung sites. So minsan meron publish na review. So unless may makapansin, hindi natin na babago, no? Kung meron tayong maling information. So it's better kung merong ibang person or group that are reviewing the content, no, prior to the publication. Ayan. So next, ano ba yung essential components of a library website? Okay, so actually maraming pwede, pero these are some of the, I think, components na dapat at least meron ng isang library website. So yung iba siguro mas marami pang mailalagay, depende kung ano yung available sa inyo. So yan, logo and banner should be available. Of course, dapat official yun, yung inyong logo that you will place in your library website or yung logo ng parent organization. Okay. Site navigation, yung mga menus, no? So very important yan because that is how your users will be able to move around the different parts of the website. And as I mentioned earlier, yung site search, very important din yun so that the users can directly view a specific page in your website without navigating across all of the menus available. Then next is contact information. Yan. So of course, people will be searching for contact numbers, emails, no, para makapag-connect sa inyo or your social media accounts, possibly kung nakapublish doon. No, so dapat available yan in case they wish to contact you for further information or inquiries. And then quick access to popular or most used resources and services. So yung website, especially the main page, dapat you prioritize yung mga most popular or most used resources or services. So kailangan yung presentation nila in the website, sila yung more prominent, no? Very visible to the users. No? Kasi pag enter pa lang ng site, makikita agad nila. No? So, in our experience, ang naging approach namin dito is we develop icons, no, for our website. Siguro mas maganda kung pakita ko sa inyo para meron kayong idea of what I'm saying. Ba yun? Share. Okay, so for instance, ito yung website namin. We use icons, no, or images para dun sa mga most popular content, no, products or services that we offer in our library. So yan, halimbawa, you can easily go to the specific pages like e-resources, yan, local databases, library services. And if you notice, marami kaming icons dito which provides quick links to our services. Yan, discovery service, remote access service, reservation, and nakita nyo yung iba pang icons. So, ito is based, of course, on the usage, or ano ba yung mga frequently ina-access ng users or hinahanap nila. So ang technique is yun yung ilalagay nyo dun sa main page or at least in the pages na very frequently binivisit ng users. So yun yung parang sino-showcase nyo in your website. So remember that dapat nasa ano sila, very visible area, prominent features ng website. So sila yung naka-publish agad, very visible to your users. Okay. Back. Ayun, no? Online catalog, kung meron kayong link niyan, quick link, so meron dapat. If you can provide a search form from the website na pag nag-search, magdidirect search result of your online catalog, discovery service, then ayun yung ideal na setup. And if you have subscriptions to online resources or kahit local resources yan, na full text, then pwede nyo i-link din yun from the main page or yung popular pages. Same with the online services. You provide document delivery, interlibrary loan. So yun yung mga dapat na naka-highlight. Kasi yun yung sa tingin nyo most frequently ginagamit ng users. Okay? You must also have a blog. So dati ang blog is separate platform. Ngayon it's mostly integrated now with the website. So parang isang feature na lang siya ng content management system to have a blog in your website to be able to post your events, activities, or any updates that you want to communicate with your users. And then yung frequent asked questions, ito dati napaka-popular din for websites because we gather yung mga frequently asked questions and then compile them para sa na meron questions. Of course, hindi na natin kailangan ulit-ulitin yung pagsagot. So if they can easily browse through your FAQs. And then another important component is yung chatbot, yung sa libraries, we call it sometimes as a librarian service. So we provide a chat interface, so that our users can easily interact with our reference librarians to answer yung mga quick queries. So maraming platforms na pwedeng gamitin. Some are free, some are of course paid services. In our case, we just use the FB Messenger dun sa website to be able to provide yung chat service nga. So kung titignan natin, so you can actually use this chat. This is just powered by Messenger. So yan. Of course, you have to log in. Required yung FB account dyan. Okay? But there are other platforms that you can use and embed dun sa inyong website. Like isang example is yung Tidio. Okay? You can use that. Basically, same interface din naman. So, meron silang mga free accounts, no, pero syempre may limitations in terms of the number of users. If you need more, of course, you can subscribe to the service. The next component, yung organizational structure, no? So very important din yun that you provide the organizational chart, your library, or including yung parent organization, no? If you have branches or sections, divisions, ideal din na include yan. Plus the directory of your personnel. So sino ba yung mga staff in the library. So you don't have to provide personal information. Siyempre, may data privacy tayo na restrictions. No? So at least the names na alam kung saan ko kontakin. And kung public naman yung contact number dun sa library, of course, you can provide the telephone numbers. Another section, new acquisitions or new resources. So yan, you can also highlight this page, no? Or ilagay nyo dun sa visible area. If you want to promote your new resources para ma-utilize din ng users. So they should be informed if you have new acquisitions. And then a visitor information. So siguro guidelines, no? Including yung access requirements, especially kung hindi naman publicly open ang inyong library. So you need to at least provide some information kung paano ba makagamit ng library. So kailangan ba ng special requests to be able to use the resources? And also include yung service hours. So importante rin yan. Anong oras bukas, anong mga araw open. So meron mga specific days that are intended for public users. So some libraries meron ganun. And then lastly is yung data privacy notice. And so I think required na yun ngayon for more websites, no, to have a data privacy notice, data privacy statement, especially if you are collecting information, no? Personal information from your users. No? Halimbawa, they have to sign in to use specific services in your library. They need to register. Siyempre, you need a data privacy notice for that if you are collecting information. Okay. Okay, so this one I got from, actually it's from EBSCO. They provided 7 best practices for creating a user-friendly library website. So, naisip ko lang ilagay ito because may mga useful information naman that we can adopt, no? We can learn from in this PubMat. So, ayan. Number 1, have a vision. Okay. So, very important yan that your library has a vision statement, your goals. Number 2 is access to search. So, na-mention ko na yan kanina. 3, keep navigation simple. I think I also mentioned that. 4, homepage is a gateway. So, na-emphasize ko rin yan. Okay, so your homepage is typically the most visited page and where your users begin their search. Kaya dapat, yun nga, maganda siya, di ba? First impressions last. And then number 5, eliminate library ease. So yan yung na-mention ko rin kanina, the use of the library jargon. So iwasan natin. You have to sometimes rename yung some labels, no, that are not very clear to users, no, hindi sila common. Okay, so use plain language or provide explanatory text when needed. So yun yung mga recommendations. And then 6, accessibility best practices. So yan, recommendations, HTML page titles must be descriptive. So yun, yung mga title natin, wag yung page 1, page 2, page 3, ganon. So you have to put some descriptive titles, no, para nare-reflect niya yung actual content. Okay, link text must indicate intent or content. Okay, images must have alt text. So yung alternative text dapat available yan if you use images, no? Kasi ang use nun is first, pag hindi nag-load yung image, no, yung alternative text yung nakikita ng users. No? Sometimes mabagal yung internet, so ang tendency hindi naglo-load yung images agad. So yung unang nakikita ng users, yung alternative text. Okay? And then also, recommended yon for users with yun nga yung merong mga visually impaired, no? Pagka sa screen readers kasi, binabasa nila yung labels and the text, no, for specific component like buttons, form field. So importante yon that we put alternative text, labels, Okay? Same with the audio and video contents. So you must include captions or transcripts. Okay, website must be navigable by keyboard only. So yan, because yun nga merong mga users that use special software and minsan keyboard lang talaga yung kanilang gamit. So dapat merong mga labels, proper labels. Test your library web page for accessibility. So merong mga tools na ginagamit. I will discuss this in detail in the next slide. To be able to evaluate, no, yung accessibility component ng website. And in addition lang, just make sure that when you conduct tests, no, have it tested by actual users. Yung mga totoong users. Hindi yung kayo lang din yung nag-test, no, but iba kasi pag ginamit na, especially public. For developers, iba pa yung testing na ginagawa. No? Kasi normally, ang experience ko dyan, pag developers yung nagte-test, syempre iba yung behavior or iba yung approach, no, to actual use as compared to the users na talagang gumagamit ng site. So medyo malaki yung magiging difference pag ginamit na doon sa action. So make sure pag may testing, yung actual users ang magte-test. Okay, kaya merong mga usability testing din yan. Conduct usability testing, which is another way, no, to evaluate usability and accessibility of a website. So I think I also have another slide for that. Yeah, moving on. So let's discuss some of the web technologies, that are commonly used to develop websites. So very common naman yung HTML kasi from the start ng web, HTML na talaga yung markup language used to design the user interface. Okay, so yung HTML, XHTML, which is more extensive, no, extensible, and the XML, these are all markup languages, and they are used to format the look yung interface ng website, no, or a web page. So they are not programming languages. So don't be confused kasi minsan sinasabi ng iba, anong programming language alam mo? HTML. No, HTML is not a programming language. Okay? It's a formatting language. Kasi wala naman logic dyan. Okay? And then another component or technology, style sheet language, like the CSS or cascading style sheet, which is very common. Ito naman is used to style yung different components, buttons, the forms, yung general typography, colors, etc. So lahat yun can be customized with the use of style sheet languages. So CSS and XSL. Okay. If you want your website to be more interactive, of course, you need scripting languages. So client-side scripting, like JavaScript. So may difference yan kasi sa server-side scripting. JavaScript is the language that is called client-side kasi it runs on the browser. As compared to other languages na tumatakbo naman dun sa server-side. So we don't have control, or the users in general, wala silang control dun sa server-side. Pero sa client-side meron. So if you know JavaScript, you can actually modify some behavior doon sa isang website because yun nga, nagra-run siya sa browser side. Okay? Next is web browsers. Siyempre, component din yan ng isang website because that is the client or the software used to access a website. And it's important that you know the different web browsers. Siyempre, we have Google Chrome, Firefox, if you're using Microsoft, you have Microsoft Edge na pumalit dun sa Internet Explorer. Okay, if you're using Apple, you must have the Safari web browser. And there are so many others na ginagamit na web browser for different platforms. So just make sure that you use the most recent or updated versions of this web browser kasi merong yun nga may behavior na possibly mag-iiba depending on the version of the browser you are using and the components or the scripting language used in the website. So for optimum performance, use the most recent versions. Ayun, so the back-end language, yung programming languages used to process data from the server side. So yan, either Python, PHP, Java, or Ruby. These are the different languages. Pero marami pang iba. So these are just some of the most popular. Frameworks are used by developers naman the app development of a website kung custom develop siya. So here are some of the examples. Yung Laravel, Zen used by for PHP programming, and then Django for Python. Tapos yung Ruby on Rails for Ruby programming language. The next component or technology is yung Web Services API. It's hindi naman siya bago talaga pero not many are actually using web services in library websites pero napakadaming application and napakadaming benefits of using web services APIs. API is application programming interfaces. So basically, when we talk about web services, these are applications running in a server that allows other websites or other information systems to communicate with that particular website. So, maaring nagamit natin yan pero hindi natin alam na yun pala ay web service API. For instance, nag-embed kayo ng video from YouTube in your web page. You're actually using the API of YouTube. Yung in-embed nyo na yon, it connects to the web services of YouTube to render video. Okay? Or for instance, nag-embed kayo ng image, no, a book cover coming from another website. So meron tayong mga websites that provide book covers, no, for free, like yung Library King, Open Library, dati Amazon, meron din sila but I'm not sure kung parang hindi yata free ngayon. So anyway, those are also examples, no, of web services that we can use. Marami pang iba na possibly nagamit nyo pero hindi nyo alam. Yun, yung pala, yung mga feed from your social media accounts, Facebook or Twitter, na i-embed niyan sa isang website, di ba? So when you embed yung mga posts from a social media account that is also using APIs of the social media platforms. So marami pang ibang applications of web service APIs. And in fact, I have a separate lecture for that kung interested kayo. Next week, Friday then. So we will provide a free webinar. I will discuss specifically web services APIs for libraries. Okay, so pasensya na, nag-plug na ako. Anyway, so another technology, of course, databases. So yeah, maraming databases ang ginagamit, of course, to be able to provide dynamic content to a website. So Microsoft's SQL, MySQL, which is merong community edition, and meron din naman enterprise. Of course, Oracle, one of the largest database providers. And then another open source yung Postgres SQL. So these are the most popular databases used on the internet, especially for content management. Okay, and then data formats. So ito naman mostly ginagamit for exchange of data across different websites. So yung sinabi ko kanina na web services APIs, yung data that is being transmitted over the internet is in the form of either XML or JSON. XML is extensible markup language, and yung JSON naman is JavaScript object notation. Basically, it's another format for data, no, transmitted over the web or the internet. So meron pang iba, but I think these are the most common. So yun, just to give you an idea ano yung mga available technologies and how they are being used in websites, okay, in developing websites. Next. So I mentioned about accessibility evaluation tools. So meron tayong mga available tools that we can use to be able to test, if, for instance, a website is responsive. So yung na-mention ko kanina, pag nag-browse tayo ng isang website, if we use different devices like smartphones, tablets, dapat yung content niya magre-resize, depend on the screen size that we are using. So halimbawa, yan ito. This is a full screen. So I'm using ano nga ba yung screen size ko? Medyo malaki but I think 2K. So but if you use a smaller screen, okay, so pwede natin gamitin yung developer tools. Merong mga developer tools. Ayan. So actually pwede nyo siyang i-preview. Sample, you have an iPad. So anong maging itsura niya sa iPad? Ganyan siya. And if you use, for instance, smaller phones, say iPhone 4, ayan, so you can actually simulate yung display in different devices. If you know how to use yung developer tools ng browser, so available yan sa iba-ibang browser. Yan, so we can actually customize kung ano yung screen size na gusto mo. Pwede mo siyang ma-preview, no, in different devices, no, with different screen sizes. So yan yung tool that you can use, no, to test yung responsiveness of a website. Mag-a-adjust siya. And dapat visible pa rin yung component. Of course, maiiba lang yung look niya, pero there should be a way to navigate the different components and pages in the website. So, yan. Okay. Then, so go back. Okay, there are also tools to test yung accessibility, like the web accessibility evaluation tools. No? Ito naman, ang ginagawa niya is tinetest niya yung accessibility ng isang website. So, merong plugin that you can use, no, yung Wave plugin, and halimbawa mag-sample tayo ng isang library website. So for instance, this one is the University of Melbourne library. Using a tool like Wave, so we can use that evaluation tool. So papansin nyo, plug-in siya, so in-install ko lang sa browser yan. And it will produce a summary of so meron siyang 12 errors, alerts, no? Some contrast errors, and naka-highlight na ito sa site. So titignan nyo na lang ano ba yung mga issues na nakita niya. Diba? Yan. So tignan natin yung halimbawa, ano ba yung mga errors dito na sinasabi niya. Naka-on pala yung style. So try natin yung contrast. Ito, contrast errors. Ayan. Okay, very low contrast between text and background colors. So yung napansin niya. So actually provide suggestions naman. So if you're familiar with the code sa HTML, you can actually review dito. And ang sinasabi niya lang is you need to edit the specific components. Yung mga ninote niya dyan na pwede yung and review, no, on how you can improve yan, yung mga components na yan na minark niya. So very useful yan to be able to make the website more accessible to different kinds of users. So, minention ko yung ito yan. So, web accessibility evaluation tool. So, pwede nyo i-download yung standalone na application or just install the plugin or extension sa web browser gaya ng ginawa ko. Okay? And then I also mentioned another website for reference, no? Yung MPAX. Okay, basically this is application for the visually impaired, and ang nag-develop nito dalawang tao. They are both visually impaired, no? So ginawa nila yung software na ito specifically for people like them. So meron siyang screen reader, no? Visually impaired, no, to navigate websites. So ang objective, of course, is to help, no, people like them to use technology, browsing websites kahit na sila may kapansanan. Okay. I also provided this link, yung reading list that will help you if you're interested, no, dun sa information about improving accessibility of the website. Okay? And for Apple users, merong voiceover na tinatawag na software which is also intended for those na merong visual problems. Ayan, you can install this in different Apple devices, iPhone, iPad. Ayun. Okay, Readable is also an application, a toolkit that helps writers improve the readability, of their website content. So ito naman, para siyang para siyang Grammarly na nag-check ng text ninyo. At ang intention is to improve yung readability of the content of the website. Nagsasabi ng mga terms that you should use, no? Yun nga, the purpose is to improve the readability. Okay? And then I mentioned about the standards, content accessibility guidelines, is an international standard, which intends to standardize yung design of websites so that it could cater to different kinds of users, especially yung may mga problems in reading, mga visually impaired. So this guidelines will help para makapag-comply dun sa standards. Okay. Going back, ayun. So let's go to the platforms. I think you are already familiar with some of them, kasi very common naman. But siguro let me just discuss the differences nung categories. So we have yung custom develop. Basically, yung custom develop is for developers talaga, no? Website developers, programmers, who can develop websites using tools from scratch, no? Like Adobe Dreamweaver. Pwede kayong mag-design dyan. You know how to work with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and other technologies, no, used for website development. Dati kasi nung wala pa yung mga CMS, of course, the developers use okay. Pero when the CMS became popular, so nagkaroon na ng platform that users, even though walang knowledge of programming or website design, madali nang mag-develop ng website because these platforms are intended really for users with minimum technical skills. So minimum meaning kailangan pa rin kasi we need to understand, of course, the platforms, including other aspects like hosting. But in terms of the management of the content, mas madali kasi dynamic. Unlike before, static yung pages, you need to encode the content, insert the images, or link the images manually. So ngayon, mas madali na. You just drag and drop, upload. Directly update the content from the web browser. So, yun. Using CMS or Content Management System, naging mas madali yung pag-develop ng website. And as I mentioned, hindi lang for very technical people. So, even those with very little knowledge of the technical aspects of design, kaya nang gawin. For as long as you understand, of course, the structure of a website and you know how to organize the content, then you can use CMS. So among the most popular, nandito sa list, WordPress is the most popular among the CMS platforms. Some sources say at least siguro 50% or more of the websites around the world are actually using WordPress. Pero may difference pala yan. So if you happen to have used one of them, merong difference yung wordpress.com at saka wordpress.org. Yung wordpress.org is the open source CMS that you can download and install in your own server or pwede rin naman sa virtual hosting sa cloud. But as compared to the wordpress.com, which is service provided by WordPress, proprietary, you just use the software and provide the content. So you don't need to install, you don't need to manage yung back-end niya and all. So basically, content lang talaga yung pinoprovide mo. Which is for beginners, mas madali. And there are others similar to this. So may yung Joomla, which is one of the oldest CMS na naging popular. Same with Drupal. Ang ano lang, for me personally, medyo mas mahirap silang gamitin for beginners because you need to be familiar really with the platform and the different components. Siguro mas kung user friendliness pag-usapan, WordPress for me is the more preferred platform. And siguro yung iba sa inyo, you have also used yung Wix or yung Google Sites. Meron din Google Sites. Those are free services provided for building websites. Pero very limited nga lang yung kanilang features. As compared to content management systems like WordPress and Drupal or Joomla, mas dynamic, mas maraming components. Yung sa Wix and the Google Sites, very limited lang yung pwede nyo gawin. Google also has the Blogger platform. So originally, blog talaga siya, but some have also used it as a website. So Blogger or yung blogspot.com was acquired by Google. So dati it's a separate entity. Ayun, so these are the most popular pero ang dami pang iba na available if you just search the web. And ako siguro I've used lahat sila. including yung Google sites. So nagamit ko na rin. And personally, I would prefer WordPress, especially for beginners and those who are not very should I say technical, no? Hindi masyadong maalam sa technical aspects of web development. So WordPress is the easiest. Okay, let's talk about web hosting. So importante rin that you are familiar with web hosting kasi in the first place, you need a host to be able to deploy your website. So maraming possible options, no? But dalawang klase siya. So one is called the on-premise hosting. So when we say on-premise, meaning the physical server is accessible to us, no? Or we probably own it, or at least our institution owns the infrastructure. No? So hosted siya somewhere in our organization, or at least we have the physical access to the service. And when we talk about cloud hosting, so this means wala sa atin yung physical server. We actually use a virtual server located elsewhere. So we just have access to the virtual servers via web browsers na other applications. And marami rin siyang classes. So merong SaaS or software as a service. So yun nga na-mention ko kanina, yung WordPress.com is an example of a software as a service, including yung Wix. Sa SaaS kasi, you just use the platform, no? But you don't have control over the infrastructure, the database, the storage, the network, the application. So content lang talaga yung pinaprovide mo in a SaaS. The other type is called platform as a service or PaaS. You have control only of the application, no? And your data, of course. But all others are controlled by the service provider. Sa IaaS naman, infrastructure as a service, dito you have control over other than the data and the applications. So may control ka din sa ano nga ba to? So you have control over the operating system, the middleware to use. No? So pwede kang pumili kung saan mo i-deploy, including yung storage size na you can configure and all. So yan, example, if you're hosting sa GoDaddy, Linode, DigitalOcean, Microsoft Azure, Oracle Cloud, or the Amazon Web AWS, Amazon Web Services. So sa PaaS naman, Heroku, Microsoft Azure din, Oracle Cloud, and yung AWS Lambda. So actually, itong Microsoft Azure, Oracle Cloud, tsaka AWS, ano sila support yung platform as a service at infrastructure as a service. So kaya nakakategorize sila sa both. Ayan, so very flexible pag, of course, infrastructure as a service, pero it requires highly technical skills. Doon din sa platform service. Pero for beginners, syempre, recommended is yung software as a service because you don't have to worry about the maintenance. So content lang talaga yung ipo-provide mo. Next, analytics. Okay, website analytics. importante ito to be able to evaluate yung usage or utilization of the website. There are different utilities that you can use, or platforms that you can use to generate website analytics. Yung iba built-in na dun platform. So meron na feeling analytics. The others, of course, you can subscribe to different providers like Google Analytics, Matomo, Open Web Analytics, and Smart. So you just need an account, of course. You have to register for this to be able to use the service. So halimbawa sa Google Analytics, this is an actual example of data generated by a website. It's one of the websites I'm maintaining. So ito yung na-generate niya for the past ilang months ba to? From August to November. August, September, October. 3 months. No? So 3 months data na-generate ko. So as you can see, merong 60,175 users. No? Okay. 307,000 page views. And 4.21 pages per section on the average session. Okay, so makikita nyo rin yan dyan yung number of sessions per user. Language breakdowns. So yan, ibig sabihin maraming gumagamit from other countries. No? As you can see, dito yung breakdown of the countries. No? From Asia, America, Europe, etc. So nakikita nyo dyan kung saan-saan nanggagaling yung and including what devices are being used. So as I've mentioned, mobile devices have become very popular and widely used in browsing websites. So kaya dito merong 26,000 users na gumamit, and that consists of more than 50%. Sorry, mali. Medyo malabo. Yun. Anyway, so as you can see, mataas din yung usage ng mobile as compared to desktop, no? 26,000 to 32,000. Marami pa rin yung desktop, but significant yung figures, no, ng gumagamit ng smartphones or mobile devices. And some are using tablets. And then marami pang ibang data that you can use, like that you can see from the analytics, like ano yung mga popular pages na binibigay your website, ano-ano yung mga services na ina-avail nila, saan sila madalas nag-click. So those are very specific data that can be gathered by an analytics software. And very useful yan in evaluating. Siyempre, kung alam nyo maraming nag-visit sa isang page, dapat yun yung gagawin yung very visible in your website. So lalagay nyo dun sa main page, no, sa home page, yung link, or make the icon bigger, no, for services that are mostly used. Okay? And ayan. Next is yung website evaluation. So very important din that you evaluate the website. So yung evaluation or assessment can be done using different methodologies. One of the most common or commonly used methodologies sa evaluation ng website is yung user experience. And maraming approaches na use, no, to evaluate the user experience. So very common, of course, online feedback. So you just provide forms, no, or ratings. You allow the user to send their feedback or rate your site. You can also send surveys to your users and then let them answer some questions relevant to your website services or resources. You can also conduct interviews for you on your use, gather important feedback. You can design forms so that you can gather specific actions of the users, yung interact nila, where they click, what they click. No? So, in some cases, kayang gawin yan ng mga analytics software para malaman nyo kung paano ba talaga nag-interact yung users sa isang website using forms. And you can also heat maps. No? Heat maps really will give you kung saan madalas nagpupunta at nagkiklik yung specific users. No? So, madidetermine nyo ano talaga yung popular pages and specific areas of your website where users are frequently visiting or going. Yun. So, yun yung makikita sa heat map. And also, website usability testing can be conducted for your targeted users. So ito kailangan mo na ng sample, sample users to evaluate specific features of the site or services that you provide. So sa research, usually ang ginagamit, karamihan yung usability testing pag nag-conduct ng qualitative research. So they allow users to interact with the website, they make observations, kung paano ba sila nag-interact, inoorasan, how long they take to accomplish specific tasks or find specific information in your website. So, ganun yung design ng usability testing. And it's usually conducted for only small groups. No? So, pagka usability testing kasi 5 users, okay na. But iterative kasi yung process. So meaning after ng 5, once you have gathered significant feedback, i-apply mo na yun. So kung meron kang kailangan i-revise sa website, then do the revisions. And then conduct another usability testing to validate and check again kung meron bang mga new feedback or other significant behaviors na napansin ka after updating the website. So ganun yung process of conducting the usability test. And then page views and time on page. So isa rin yan sa na-mention ko kanina. If you use the analytics tool, pwede nyo makuha yan. Yung mga data na yan. Okay, finally, security. Security of the website. So very important yan. Kasi sa panahon ngayon, ang daming data breach na nangyayari. So many information, personal information specifically, have been posted online without the permission of the owner of the information or data. So importante that our websites are also secure from possible hackers. So ito yung mga ilang important tips lang that you have to do to be able to secure a website. One is to run essential platform updates or security fixes. Yung software, laging merong mga updates yan or bug fixes. So natural yun. Kasi yung development kasi continuous. Hindi yung after ma-deploy yung software, okay na, pwede mo na siyang iwanan, it will run on its own. But actually, mas magiging prone sila to vulnerabilities kapag walang updates. Kasi especially open source dahil yung source nga niyan ay open. That means visible sa lahat ng users. And they can study the code and find the specific holes or yung vulnerabilities nga dun sa application so that they could penetrate the system. Kaya merong mga frequent updates yan, security fixes na nire-release on a regular basis. So you have to apply that to be able to secure yung software na ginagamit mo. Next is implement HTTPS. Importante yan. So dapat required talaga yan for a website. You don't run a website publicly kapag hindi siya HTTPS. Especially if you are allowing users to sign in to your website or input sensitive information. Kasi without HTTPS or yung SSL or TLS certificate, ang data is transmitted over the internet in plain text. So kayang ma-capture yan ng mga marunong. So make sure that you don't transact with websites, they don't provide personal information kapag hindi HTTPS. So makikita niyo yan yung lock na key dun sa browser, di ba? Pag meron kayong nakitang ganon, that means secured site is using HTTPS. And then another recommendation is you implement single sign-on for login. So if, for instance, you have accounts in Google, most of the websites ngayon, they have single sign-on. So that if you are logged in already, for instance, in your Gmail, you can easily sign in other platforms that are also using the same authentication. Okay, and it's also advisable to apply yung two-factor authentication for login. So meaning for signing in, entering your username and password, dapat magsisend siya sa'yo ng verification code either through your SMS or through email or by using authenticator applications like yung sa Google Authenticator. That would was the level of authentication to make sure na kahit hulaan yung password nyo, hindi basta-basta makaka-sign in because kailangan pa rin mag-provide ng authentication code. So parang standard na rin yan ngayon for websites. And finally, consult with cybersecurity analyst kasi ibang skill din to ibang specialization. Even yung mga web developers, hindi lahat familiar with security. So kaya lang mag-develop, mag-deploy, but securing the website is another thing. Hindi siya ganun kadali. So you need an expert for this. Of course, there are software tools that you can use that will help you evaluate and assess yung security of a website. Pero ideal pa rin if you can consult with a cybersecurity analyst para makita yung mga vulnerabilities. So you can patch this and at least secure the website. Yun. So okay, so yeah, we can have siguro a short overview lang, baka medyo matagal kasi pag i-browse natin yung buong site to provide you a demo, but I can show you some sample websites that you can adopt for a live. So ayan. Actually, we are building a template for library websites. This is hindi pa to official, but it's one of my initiatives as part of the e-library project. develop ng template for library websites na using CMS like this one, WordPress. Na it's using WordPress. So basically, nag-construct lang ng bare bones. No? So ano ba yung mga components na pwedeng ilagay? Yan, of course, this one is a gallery, images that you can use to display in the main page. Of course, the blogs, no, different posts, library search. So, meron mga links to yan, organizational chart, history, location and operating hours, vision and mission. Okay, frequently asked questions, contact information, yan. So, ito yung mga mga ilan lang na pwedeng ilagay for a website, but of course you can customize based on what you have, the information services offer, okay, programs and events. And yan, yung search feature. Okay. So again, this is just a template. So ibig sabihin you have to, of course, replace the name, title, the logo or banner, images in the website, change the color scheme. Ang maganda dito is that yun nga, WordPress is easy to manage. Yung galing sa WordPress.org na software, so it was just customized for a library template. And once maging i-release ito for public use through the National Library. This is our project developed by the UP IT Development Center. Okay, so meron pang ibang mga components. So yung CMS is just one component. Pero since related ito sa ating topic, I thought of introducing this. So although advanced, hindi pa officially na-launch. Anyway, if you're interested in learning naman sa using wordpress.com, which I recommend, pwede naman kayong mag-explore. There are several videos naman sa YouTube kasi medyo matito pag demo ko. I think we're running out of time. So you can just
I put in a domain name and now it gives me a bunch of different extensions.
Ayan.
And so right here I can choose.
So in WordPress.com, meron different options. Now, of course, you can avail of the free website hosting, and you can also subscribe. No? So makikita nyo, there are different plans naman. You can, for development, you can start with the free version. So wala namang bayad. So you can just explore how to organize muna. And should you decide na okay na siya and you're to public, pwede nyong i-upgrade so that you can avail of the other features, like larger storage, more templates to use, and other services that are not available sa free. Ito yung nire-recommend ko kasi it's easy to use, but at the same time, hindi naman siya ganun kamahal compared to if you actually host and buy a server, yung total cost of ownership mas mababa. Currently, yung website namin is running in WordPress dito. So, but we are using the business plan. No? So, dito, yung business plan is $25 a month. Pero napakadaming features. So, ayun, mas customizable siya, of course, compared to the other plans. Pero kung maliit lang naman yung library or you have very basic services, you can start with, of course, the free and then upgrade to personal or later sa premium. So mas mas marami kayong magagawa. Okay. Again, the advantage is that you don't need to maintain the server, no? Kasi mas ano siya, I mean, ano na ready na yung ano yung site. You don't have to install. You just need to configure, set the logo, title, menu, no? And yung content. So yan, sinubukan ko dito mag-embed ng Facebook post ng PAR. So pwede yung paglaruan. You can customize the themes, no? Pwede yung baguhin. Of course, as I've mentioned, dun sa mga paid plans, mas maraming available templates that you can adapt. Mahirap kasi pag mag-start from scratch. No? So, better to just select template and then just modify. No? You can customize the menus. No? Ayan, so pwede nyo ayusin yan depending on your preferred layout. No? Okay, so then you can post some ito. Yan, so you can publish here. So very easy naman yung kanyang CMS platform. And somehow similar lang sa word processor. No? You just type the text, title, content, and insert some components, yan, table, image, and include gallery, a list, and many other components are available. As I mentioned, syempre mas maraming option dun sa paid subscription compared to the free. So ito kasi free lang siya. But yun. For paid subscription, napakaraming pwedeng gawin. And what else? So don't forget kapag natapos nyo na yung website nyo to register the domain or provide an official domain name. Kasi gaya nito, ang domain name niya .wordpress.com siya. No? Kasi yun nga, it's a free site. No? But once tapos na, you can assign a more official or an official domain for your website para magkaroon siya ng identity. Yun. It should use the domain name or parent organization. Okay, so I think I can stop here and accommodate some questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Sir Chito, for sharing with us the essential things and or elements that we need to keep in mind in developing our own website. Again, our speaker, virtual round of applause using the button. At this point in time, we are opening the floor for any questions. We have actually questions from our chat box, sir. So the first question is from Ma'am San Pador. So, Sir Chito, good afternoon. How long will it take to develop a website? And there is a question. Mayroon na website but minimum info. Pwede ba mag-develop ng another same is many thanks.
Okay. Actually, kasi sa level So, pwedeng mabilis lang kung sanay. Pero syempre for beginners, as I mentioned, you have to be familiar with the components, yung menu, page, and kung ano yung embed mo na components in the web page. But the good thing is ang daming tutorials na pwedeng i-consult naman. So just browse YouTube and can easily create the website by following some tutorials. Tapos, ano yung second question? Pwede bang mag-develop ng another? Actually, yes, pwede naman. Pero there should be an official website kung dalawang website sa isang institution. Parang nakakalito naman for users. So at least dapat merong official na website. So wag dalawa, baka malito kung alin talaga yung official doon. Parang Facebook lang maraming account ang isang tao.
Yes. Nakakalito, no? Minsan pati yung user nalilito rin. Okay, sir, thank you for that. There's another question which has been sent directly to me, so I will not disclose the participant's name. So here's the question. Of the many website platforms available, you have mentioned, sir, the best is to use the WordPress, right? Especially for beginners and with limited budget. May I know more or less how much is the budget or much budget allotted to have an official library website?
I think pinakita ko kanina yung subscription niya, the rates niya. So
Baka na-miss po niya.
Library and the targeted number of users. Siyempre kung medyo marami ang sa tingin mo ang gagamit, so you need a subscription with the higher bandwidth, no? May allotment kasi na bandwidth na siyempre kung maraming users mo kailangan mas malaking bandwidth. Okay, pero kung maliit lang yun, you can start with the personal, so $4 per month, and then or upgrade to premium $8. Tapos pagka malaki talaga, like sa amin, academic library, medyo marami kaming users. So that's why we subscribe to the business which costs $25 per month.
Wow. Okay, so ayun po yung answer ni Sir Chito for that. Sir, I have also a personal question. I don't know if I have missed this one during your presentation, but I think relevant naman siya. So what is your suggestion, sir, towards the designing of the flow of the library website, or what we call, sir, the site mapping, for us to effectively achieve the overall goal of having a library website? Kasi, sir, most of the time, no, or let's admit it, we tend to become, subjective, no, in terms of the content that we put in the website. So may we know your insights on this, sir?
Ang advice ko dyan is you have to discuss it with a team. Siguro mayroon kasi pag isang tao lang.
Correct.
So normally, group talaga, have a discussion. Ano ba yung mga major components na gusto nyong i-showcase in your website. So that is how you can start. No? Organize nyo siya doon sa pinaka-importante down to the least important. No? So yung mga primary main or the main option, pinaka top level, no? Na sa tingin nyo dito dapat mag-start, mag-navigate yung users, no? So syempre logical dapat yung arrangement, no? Kung related yung mga resources, nasa isang lang siya, isang menu or sub. Hindi pwedeng sabog, hiwa-hiwala yung related information or services. No?
Yes, sir, I agree. I agree din dun, sir, sa part ng committee, no? Kasi if there is only someone who will just decide on the content, no? Basically, it will be inevitable na talaga magiging subjective tayo when it comes to what we post. So, mas maganda objective talaga.
In fact, pag sa developer nyo inasa, medyo hindi masusunod yung talagang gusto nyo. No? Kasi experience ko yan sa mga nagpapagawa ng website. They leave it to the developer. So gawa ka ng website, no? Pero yung developer wala may idea kung paano niya aayusin yung information. So unless of course may experience na previously. But in most cases, kung ano yung alam niya, yun yung gagawin niya. Pero that may not actually reflect the actual need or requirement ng institution. No? So dapat ang developer susundin lang kung ano yung preferred nung owner, no, yung kung sino yung in charge dun sa library. So sa stakeholders talaga, sila yung dapat magbigay nung layout or yung site map, paano ba dapat ma-organize yung content. So ako kasi pag pinagawa ko, ganun ang hinihingi ko eh. So paano yung gustong ayusin yung information in the website. So hindi pwedeng asa sa akin lahat. Ako na rin mag-iisip. Hindi siya ganun. No, dahil possibly hindi ko naintindihan how your users behave when browse through your website. Okay?
Yes. So much, sir, for that. I think we will just entertain last two questions since it's already 3:16. So from Mr. Joshua, good day. Good day, sir. How often back up a website visits back-end database? You can provide insights into what is the best practice for doing that work.
Sorry pa ulit.
How often back up a website with its back-end database? You can provide insights into what is the best practice for doing that work.
When we say backup, kasi dalawang klase yan. Merong backup na real-time, tsaka meron din yung offline. No? So syempre, real-time, immediately nagba-backup siya somewhere. Pero syempre, expensive yung ganun. You have to have another platform to receive yung updates. Then the other one is offline backup. So kami in practice, we do daily. So daily meaning magra-run siya during the period na walang masyadong user. So madaling mga ganon. So naka-schedule yun to back up the entire database. Kasi in the event na magkaroon ng problema, at least hindi malaki yung loss, within or less than 24 hours yung possible na mawala. With the real-time backup, yun yung maganda kasi nga definitely wala kang loss. You can restore anytime you have the real-time backup.
All right, so real-time backup. Okay, so last two questions may humabol po as a direct message. Hi, Sir Chito, we have our own website, but we are subscribed to many online databases. I was thinking, making a one search in our website, yung katulad po ng Tuklas. Your question, yung question po is, kailangan po ba namin kumuha ng may expertise nito or kaya na po bang gawin ito ng isang librarian na may minimum knowledge ng website development?
Yung ginamit is based on open source, yung viewfind, no? Pero syempre it requires technical to be able to post. Kaya naman ang talagang gusto and interest tutunan. Another thing is pwede naman kayong mag-subscribe din for some discovery services, if you don't have the skills or personnel with the skills to develop your own. So maraming options, pero syempre it requires budget.
Yes.
If you're into open source, then yeah, I will recommend yung ginawa namin. We just customize viewfind, and ayun, kinonect namin siya sa aming mga existing databases, para magkaroon kami ng single search platform for discoveries.
Yes. So wala namang masama if you're going to hire an expert for this, but it will require budget from the institution's end. All right, so last question. As a starting point, what platform can you recommend for the easiest way in developing a library website?
Ayun, so yung kanina WordPress, easiest pero at the same time dynamic, mas marami siyang options, as compared to using yung Wix or yung Google Sites na medyo limited. Kung gusto niyo naman ng talagang very customizable, you use the WordPress.org yung download. Pero you need hosting for that. So, kaya ako nirecommend yung sa WordPress.com is that you don't need to worry about the web hosting dahil na siya hosted na yun eh. So, content na lang talaga yung problema niyo. But if you have a little knowledge naman of the technical aspects of deploying applications sa on-premise or sa cloud, okay WordPress.org because that is highly customizable and lahat ng gusto mong gawin sa software pwede kasi nga ikaw yung magde-deploy. So you have full control.
Okay, so thank you so much for the questions. Thank you so much, Sir Chito, for addressing all these questions. All right, so let's proceed now to the awarding of the Certificate of Appreciation to our speaker. So let me share my screen for that. Allow me to share my screen. So this one, this certificate reads, PAARL presents this certificate of appreciation to Mr. Chito and Angeles in grateful recognition and appreciation for sharing his invaluable time, knowledge, and expertise as a speaker at the PAARL Marina G. Dairit Series with a website developed libraries held online via Zoom platform 18 November 2020. This will be signed, of course, by our Vice President, Dr. Maria Gia G. Gamolo, and our PAARL President, Sharon M. Samaniego. Okay, let's give him another round of applause for this. Okay, so let me unshare. And then before we go to the last part of our program, we have just a few important announcements. So first is PAARL election is still ongoing. So electronic ballots are sent to active PAARL members. So when we say active PAARL members, now these are paid members. Kindly check your registered email address. Casting of votes is until December 4 only. So please refer to the one that will be posted by Ms. Sharon that will be shared to us. For those who have not cast their vote, please check your inbox or spam because all e-ballots are sent already. So if you haven't received your e-ballot, please send an email to our NOMELEC chair. She's here, Ms. Susan Pador. Email address of Ms. Susan will be posted in our chat box. So please reach out for her who haven't received your e-ballot. Kindly post our Alex just in our chat box so that if they have concerns, they can send an email to Ms. Susan Pador. All right, so these candidates, kindly cast your vote. So exercise your right to vote till December 4. All right, so next announcement. So the second one is we have a logo design competition, which is also ongoing with the theme PAARL at 50, back and please send your entries to PAARL's official email address at paarlbod@gmail.com. Please post our email address to our chat box. Again, please send your entries ongoing. So competition, logo competition, if you're interested, just send entries. And the mechanics are there also, will be shared by Ms. Sharon Samaniego. Okay, so you can also review that in our PAARL FB page. Yes, ma'am.
Nasi-share ko ba?
Yes po.
Okay.
I can see it here. All right, so next is this one. Anyway, you can check this out from our PAARL official FB page, no? Everything is posted there. So the third one is we also have the call for nominations for 2022 PAARL Awards. Ayan. So kung may mga nakikita kayo na very, very deserving for these awards, so nominations are until November 30 only. So Ms. Sharon will be sharing the the Outstanding Academic Research Library of the Year, Outstanding Library Program, Innovative Library, Academic Librarian of the Year, Lifetime Achievement Award. Kindly send your nominations as well. Okay, so this is until November 30. If you have questions and concerns, kindly reach for the PAARL Board of Directors at paarlbod@gmail.com. And the last one, so we encourage you to submit your works, no? Sayang naman, your papers, your, yung mga researches natin to the PAARL National Summer Conference or the NSC 2023. So our PubMat will also be shared by Sharon. Anyways, this is also posted in our FB page. So we encourage you to like our Facebook page for announcements and of course for more details and instructions on how you can join. All right, so Sharon, can you please share with us the NSC poster? Yan, for more.
I'm trying to share it. Sandali ha. I'm trying to share it.
Alright.
Ayan.
Ayan, so yan pong ating call for paper. So all the details are here. If you get lost, you just go to the PAARL official FB page for more details on these announcements. Okay, so and now, so to give her closing remarks, thank you so much for that, Ms. Sharon. Let's have our Vice President, PAARL Vice President, Dr. Maria Gia G. Gamolo. Let's give her a round of applause, virtual round of applause.
Wow, grabe. Yes, thank you, Miss Anna. Good afternoon, everyone. Okay. So our precious time flies like a shooting star, and we are getting to the closing time. So I believe that all of us have well done to the 5th Marina G. Dairit lecture series entitled Website Development Libraries. So it's my sure that we had fruitful and productive discussions today. It is a very informative and interesting topic, which every one of us really appreciates the presentation of our dear speaker. I can conclude that the purpose of this webinar has been completely accomplished. I would like to pay my deep respect to all of you, to almost 100 participants, for your positive participation in the webinar. So on behalf of PAARL Board 2022, we give thanks to Mr. Chito Angeles to accept the invitation of PAARL to be the speaker for today's webinar. Thank you very much, Sir Chito. And to all participants for actively participates during the Q&A portion. Likewise, your unending support to the PAARL's event in 2022 from the Forum on Library Standards in February, the National Summer Conference in April, the seminar workshops in August, and the 5 sessions of Marina G. Dairit Lecture Series in June, July, September, October, and November. All these events are very successful because of you. We highly appreciated all your efforts to attend the said events. So above all, we thank God Almighty for allowing us to make this event possible. As always, to God be all the glory. So once again, thank you very much po. This is the last event of PAARL. So yay, natapos na rin kami. So thank you so much mga members for your unending efforts, and happy weekend to all of you. God bless.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Doc Gia. Yes, no, finally we got to the end of our event. All right, so may we remind to please use your real name, as we can see some devices no na hindi real name ang gamit nila. Why? Because this is our reference for attendance also. Also, just a reminder to accomplish the pre and post evaluation forms posted in our chat box. Kindly access the link because these are requirements for you to get your e-certificate. So without accomplishing these forms, hindi kayo makakakuha ng e-certificate. All right, so thank you for everyone for attending today's webinar on website development for libraries. Again, this is Ana Sahona on behalf of PAARL. Thank you for joining us today and have a great rest of the day. Please stay for a short photo op. All right, so who will take the screenshot? Can we request the honor of Miss Geraldine? Is that all right? Screenshot lang po tayo ng ating mga participants. Okay. Yan. If you have queries, concerns, please don't hesitate to send us an email. Thank you, Sir Chito.
Miss, hindi ako co-host.
Oh, kindly open your cameras po. Okay.
Sorry, Miss Marivic, ikaw yata ang mag-take ng screenshot. Is it all right? Sige. Si Miss Marivic na lang daw po.
Open po sa panel 2. Ready for panel 3. Done po. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much and congratulations.
We have the post-evaluation link.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please access the post-evaluation link in our chat box. Thank you for attending and congratulations to all.
Thank you. Thank you, Sir Chito.
Sir Chito.
Thank you, Sir Chito.
Bye.
Stop recording na ba ako?
Nag-stop na po ako.
Yes, pwede na.
Yeah.